You're watching RT now. Russia has marked the 65th anniversary of the defeat of Nazi Germany with its biggest ever Victory Day parade. Soldiers from Britain, France, Poland and the U.S. marched alongside Russian troops in Red Square as tanks and missiles rolled over its cobblestones and planes roared overhead. Well, for more, let's now cross live to our correspondent Anissa Nawi, who watched all the action. Good morning, Anissa. So, hopes were so high for the celebrations. Did they live up to the expectations?
That's right. Well, it was an incredible weekend of celebrations across the world and Russia, but the biggest, of course, here in Moscow. Where else could they take place but on Red Square, where 65 years ago to the day the first ever parade took place. The 2010 celebrations were the biggest in history, and for the first time, wartime allies joined in from the U.S., the UK and France, marching along with Russian soldiers. This all while world leaders stood on the sidelines, along with veterans, of course, who were there at that very first parade 65 years ago. Now, the events all ended with a phenomenal firework display over central Moscow. And for more on the day's events, here's RT's Guy Chikan.
Russia has never before shared victory celebrations on this scale. For the first time in history, American, British, French, and other foreign troops joined Russian soldiers in the spectacular Grand Parade to mark the defeat of Hitler. Watching were those for whom the day is dedicated in the first place.
The Soviet Union took the main blow of the fascists, who threw 3/4 of their troops to the Eastern Front. They wanted to burn our country down, but faced a resistance that has no match in courage and strength. Our veterans gave us the most important thing ever. They conquered freedom for us.
It was an emotional day for around 3,000 veterans in attendance, a day of joy through tears, as many described their feelings. Their ranks included some from former Soviet republics and Western wartime allies. Henry Dempster McIntosh is a veteran of the Arctic convoys, British naval and merchant vessels which ensured vital wartime supplies to the Soviet Union. Russia has decorated him many times, but he says that the Soviets aren't given enough credit in the West for defeating the Nazis.
The Russian government has never forgotten and always appreciated, and the people of Russia, what we did in the war, the convoy veterans. We lost 2,800 men on these convoys, and they have never forgotten this. We in the UK, we in the Western countries, failed to appreciate that Russia lost 28 million in the war. And this is what annoys us, that people do not appreciate, particularly on the Eastern Front, Russian losses were enormous. And if they had not won the war on the Eastern Front, the world would not have enjoyed the peace it has enjoyed for the last 65 years.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel put aside the European financial crisis to come and pay respect to those who fought against the Nazis. Also present were leaders from countries which have criticized Soviet rule, like Estonia, which has faced its own accusations of wartime Nazi collaboration. Before the big celebrations, President Medvedev handed over the files about the Stalinist massacre of 22,000 Polish officers and prisoners of war in 1940. The atrocity and its cover-up have scarred Polish and Russian relations for decades.
Hundreds of veterans were invited to this dinner where they share their meal with the leaders from around 25 countries. Those war heroes had never met each other before in the battlefield, but now they say they feel as united as
ever. It's very important that we invited troops from the UK, America, France and Poland. This seals the friendship that our nations had during the war.
I was a pilot in the French Normandy Niemen Squadron. We fought under the Soviet command. I personally shot around 12 enemy planes. Every year on the 9th of May, I come to Russia.
No one paid so heavily as the Soviet and the Russian people to break Hitler's back. So I come here with a great feeling of emotion. emotion.
Back then, the war united countries which seemed to have nothing in common. Now it's hoped that the memory of battles fought together and the shared joy of victory can help provide the same unity and friendship 65 years on. Ganesh Shekan, RT, Moscow.
Of course, the next big anniversary is coming up in 2015, and we're already hearing that it's going to be even grander than the celebrations in 2010. Of course, it's a sad fact, though. Veterans each year are dying more and more, and we less and less can hear firsthand accounts of what they saw, what they went through World War II. And of course, RT has a special program called War Witness, where you can hear extraordinary stories from the veterans about what they went through 65 years ago.
All right, Anisa, thanks very much indeed for this. Anisa now reporting from the heart of the Russian capital.